Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into the powerful ideas from Ryan Holiday's best-selling book, Ego is the Enemy. It's a game changer, for sure. So, the book opens with this really stark warning. The biggest obstacle you're ever going to face, it isn't out there in the world. Nope, it lives right inside you.
Now, let's be clear, Holiday isn't talking about the Freudian ego here. He's talking about that destructive, kind of petulant child inside all of us that craves recognition above absolutely everything else. So today we're going to follow the book's structure pretty closely, exploring how ego messes with us at 3 really critical stages of our lives, and, of course, what we can do about it. Okay, let's dive right in and get to know this foundational idea of the enemy within. What Holiday argues is that ego is the enemy at every single step of the journey, whether you're building something, maintaining it, or, recovering from it all. So let's move on to that first stage. Let's see how this thing builds when we're ambitious and just starting our journey. One of the first traps ego sets is that temptation to just talk about what we're gonna do, instead of actually doing the hard work. We've all been there. And here's the crucial point. Our minds can actually get confused. It can mistake talking about a goal with making real progress, and that just drains our energy for the actual task ahead. So this all leads to a really fundamental choice, one that was famously framed by the military strategist John Boyd for his young protégés. And this just brilliantly illustrates the 2 paths, right? One is all about appearances and status. The other? Well, that one's about purpose and impact. So the way to fight ego early on is to ground yourself in reality and humility. You gotta choose to earn that confidence through real achievement, not just by posturing. But what happens after you hit your goal? Well, that's when ego finds new and honestly kind of insidious ways to bring you down. Yeah, after a big victory, ego tells us we're special. And that can so quickly lead to a sense of entitlement, a desperate need for control, and even paranoia. As the artist Marina Abramovich puts it, buying into your own hype is pretty much the quickest way to destroy the very creativity that brought you success in the first place. To combat this, the key is to be a lifelong student. You gotta stay humble and open to learning, even when the whole world is celebrating you. Look, sooner or later, we all fail. It's just part of life. But ego doesn't just make that failure more painful, it actually stops us from learning anything from it. So every failure presents us with this choice. Are you going to use this as a live time to learn and grow, or is it going to be dead time to blame others and wallow in self-pity? Your ego will spin these stories just to protect itself. It'll say, it's someone else's fault, or this proves you're worthless. Both of which, by the way, completely block any real insight. The antidote here is resilience, focusing on the value of the effort itself and using that setback as fuel to get even stronger. So across all 3 of these stages, right, if ego is this constant enemy, then its opposite has to be our most powerful ally. Now, what's really interesting here is the crucial distinction Holiday makes between that toxic ego and real, earned confidence. They are not the same thing. Ultimately, the goal is a really simple but powerful mindset. Be humble in your aspirations, be gracious in your success, and be resilient in your failures. And in the end, the book leaves every single one of us with this profound question. It's a choice that's going to define not just our careers, but our lives. So, which will you choose?